you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. In this bulletin, Public Accounts Committee questions use of consultant in restructure of Rewa Dairy. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama to visit India in 2 weeks' time. And students can now learn the parliamentary process from a new book launched today. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism has been tasked by the Public Accounts Committee to divulge the details of the use of a consultant in the restructure of Rewa Dairy, as well as the rate of returns on state-owned enterprises. This was revealed today with the committee scrutinizing the Auditor General's reports from 2010 to 2013. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
The Auditor General's office today highlighting an almost clean bill of health for the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism's books, with audited accounts in the black and no recurrent issues. Before the Public Accounts Committee was the Permanent Secretary responsible, Shaheen Ali.
I guess what the Public Accounts Committee wants is a detailed written answer on that, and we are happy to provide because as of now, and as we had stated previously, out of the 16 public enterprises, 14 are profitable, and our returns on equity, that is our shareholding position, has been increasing every year.
But there were nonetheless some red flags, with PAC Chairman Dr. Biman Prasad highlighting the need for transparency.
We've also asked him to provide us a written report on the restructure of the Rewa Dairy and the process and the amount that was paid to the consultant, and the issues that the Auditor General report has.
The hearing also revealed that Fiji Hardwood Corporation's accounts from 2009 to 2014 were yet to be audited, along with food processors, another state-owned enterprise. Ali explained that their financial statements were up to date, but are currently being scrutinized internally. This is the last open session, with the Public Accounts Committee now working on their consolidated report covering 2010 to 2013, which is expected to be tabled in Parliament in September. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama will be leaving the country tonight to be chief guest at the Fiji Day celebrations in Surrey, Canada this week. Bainimarama and his wife Mary Bainimarama will also be guests at the first ever Miss Fiji Canada Beauty Pageant and Red Carpet Charity Gala to be held at the Royal King Palace in Surrey. Bainimarama will also meet the Vancouver and Surrey Chamber of Commerce. He is expected to attend a Fijian Business Forum and is likely to meet the Premier of British Columbia, Christy Clark. This will be the Prime Minister's first visit to Canada. Meanwhile, Bainimarama will be visiting India later this month to take part in a second meeting of Pacific Island nation prime ministers. The meeting is a follow-up to the meeting during the visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Fiji in November last year. Fiji's High Commissioner to India, Yogesh Karan, says they have invited all stakeholders to give their submissions on key areas to be discussed. Karan says some discussions will be on the continuation of what was discussed here last year, and one key focus area will be climate change.
In general, I think the discussion could be around medical, agriculture, renewable energy, climate change, low-cost housing. And India is very good in low-cost housing. And there is also on the program for the private sector involvement, there is going to be government to business meeting and B2G and G2B meetings.
The meeting will be held in New Delhi from the 18th to the 22nd of this month. Students in secondary schools and tertiary institutions around the country can now learn and understand the parliamentary process from a book. Parliament 101, A Student's Guide to Parliament, was launched at the Fiji National University in Suva this afternoon. Akusita Tale has more.
This 135-page guideline of parliamentary process is intended to help young Fijians understand how Parliament works. The new Parliament proceedings that started from October last year appeared peculiar, unfamiliar and strange for many, especially the young population in Fiji. This guideline will put those queries to rest.
It's part of education. You want inquiring minds. You want people to ask questions. And so I structured it in a way which I hoped would encourage young people to read the newspapers, to watch the news, and to follow the Parliament, and ask questions about why is it so? Why does it work this way? And I hoped by provoking curiosity that would lead them to want to know more and more.
This will not only help students, but parliamentarians and the public will benefit as well.
The production of this publication is going to be very, very useful, and a lot of questions that are asked of us are well answered in this publication. And believe me, you might have to produce many more of these. I've just looked at it over there. You might have to produce many more of these because people out there in the communities are so interested in Parliament and what happens in Parliament.
The government of Japan provided funding assistance to help generate greater awareness and facilitate an increased participation by a better informed public. There are plans to distribute these books to secondary schools and all FNU institutions. It will also be published online. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The Elections Office is in its final phase of registering this year's students for the 2018 general elections. 88% of schools have been registered with young enthusiastic voters prepared to cast their vote when the time comes. Chanel Sivan reports.
The voter registration team started traveling around Fiji last month, registering those students 18 years old or who will be turning 18 this year. The exercise is almost complete.
We've seen some very enthusiastic, energetic youngsters who have stepped forward to register. We have also got some very positive feedback from them in terms of how they plan to use their EVR card apart from voting. And one of the things that the FAO is doing in this registration program is that we are actually doing information sessions before we do the registration of voters.
This is the last week of the voter registration exercise, with 156 schools covered out of the 178.
We have managed to register 5,491 new voters, and this brings the total number of voters in Fiji as at today to 596,592 registered voters. And we're looking at some central schools in the coming days, and we're expecting these numbers to surge as we go closer towards the end of this week.
Meanwhile, those students who have already registered are advised to take proper care of their voter registration cards. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, anemia cases in the country alarms Health Ministry.
FM Central Rental Support
Oya wawati soni dalai.
Vanga yang masih don.
Nama kikirau mena tolu kena bitu. Ena via kadi moliti kena porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kami. Bula FM number 2 ena seri.
Not all cases recorded by the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre are referred to police for investigation. The centre receives cases of domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault, harassment and rape, amongst others. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
Cases reported to the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre are referred to police only upon the consent of the victim.
Usually the cases which come to us, particularly having to do with children, have already been to the police. they have already reported and then they end up with us. But if they are children, then we have to report, and we encourage them to report. If for any reason the parents decide not to, then we'll leave it to them, but we will continue with the counseling.
For the first 6 months of the year, the Fiji Women's Crisis Center recorded over 1,000 cases of domestic violence, rape, child abuse, and sexual assault or harassment, and others. Shamima Ali says there are several reasons victims do not want their cases to be referred to police.
They just haven't had the right response from the community, the fear of they might be ostracized from the community they live in, the fear of if a mother brings a child and the child has been abused by someone in the father's family or by the father himself or the grandfather, then the pressure that she is undergoing often deters her from reporting the case. And even if she does agree to report, they might go back and withdraw the case.
While the centre currently does not have figures of how many of the cases they referred to police eventually end up in court, Ali says they do keep tabs on them.
If she continues with us, our counsellors keep following up the case till it goes to court. And then nowadays our lawyers and the counsellor, they actually follow the case through to court, and particularly rape and sexual assault cases.
Ali says it is important to have services readily available to victims and that there is urgency in responding to their reports. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
400,000 children, women and men in Fiji suffer from anemia. National Advisor for Non-Communicable Disease Dr. Ismaili Tukana says the rate is alarming and Fiji must act against it now. Ali Kimbia has more.
Anemia is caused by a lack of iron in the blood, and this is a major concern for the health ministry.
Now statistics in Fiji show that a lot of people in Fiji are anemic. You need that particular iron-rich food to be able to carry the oxygen to the tissues.
Dr. Tukana says the health ministry is currently working on various ways to counter anemia.
So nutrition is the most important thing in raising our children, and I would like to emphasize that as a National Advisor for Wellness, I'm now concentrating on the first 1,000 days of life. That is from pregnancy to 2 years, and nutrition is an important part, and I feel that that is one of the gaps.
The ministry is also calling on mothers to prevent anemia by frequently breastfeeding babies for the first 2 years of life.
So in that way, the babies grow up to be well and healthy, and also if they become adults, they will form an asset to a skilled workforce.
With anemia being a major concern for the health ministry, the onus is on individuals to eat the right type of food and maintain healthy living. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Fiji's permanent representative in Geneva, Nazat Shamim, has commended the parliament for passing the company's bill. Ambassador Shamim says it is very important for the business community in Fiji to understand the bill. Ellen Stahls has more.
Ambassador Nazat Shamim says it's time for Fiji's laws to be updated to keep abreast with changes happening around the world.
Everybody else would have passed their laws in a particular area and we would be left behind like dinosaurs. And the fact that the Companies Act has finally been updated, or the Companies Law in Fiji has finally been updated, is a great credit.
Speaking at a symposium on educating engineers about the crimes decree and corruption, Shamima says the onus is on the various sectors of the community to be well aware of any new laws passed by Parliament.
If there has been any legal change, then I think it's the responsibility of the private and the public sector to educate themselves about the changes in the law and about how their conduct should change as a result of these changes.
Shamim adds the provision that makes directors of companies liable for their actions will help move Fiji forward in a positive light. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
To care for those who once cared for us is one of the highest honours, and today the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation's 6 radio stations, together with its Hibiscus Queen candidate, did just that. 25 radio presenters, along with FBC's hibiscus queen Nelisha Umarau, paid a visit to the Samambula Senior Citizens Home. Umarau is advocating for the well-being and good care of senior citizens, specifically those who have been forsaken by their loved ones. The team took bed sheets and pillow covers for the residents and spent time sharing stories and entertaining the elderly. The FBC Programs team is requesting donations of used clothing and blankets, which can be delivered to the broadcasting house before Wednesday next week. The announcers, along with its queen, will visit the home next Wednesday to distribute the items. Coming up in sports, John McKee pleased with the Flying Fijians' improved second-half performance in PNC final win today. And Suva football out to end a 20-year drought at Battle of the Giants.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Boulevard. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Vodafone Flying Fijians coach John McKee says he is happy with the improved second-half performance by his side in the 39-29 win over Samoa in the Pacific Nations Cup final today. In recent matches, Fiji has given up majority of the points in the second half and put itself under pressure. However, McKee says the coaching staff and players have been working on the focus over 80 minutes and today was much better than the previous matches. The Flying Fijians return on Thursday and will march into camp on August 13th before departing for the World Cup. The Fiji Pearls will bank on its senior players to carry the team when it begins its quest at the Netball World Cup this Friday. Ace shooter Una Rauluni has also joined the side to cover for Taraima Mitchell. Coach Kate Carpenter says the new inclusion is a boost for the side. She also adds the squad has a good range of athletes that will make an impact at the competition.
We've got a blend of experience, youth. 7 of the athletes have been to a World Cup before. Mere and Tilla have been to 4, so that's a huge achievement. And especially Tilla because she hasn't, I think she's only ever been unavailable for 1 tour.
The national side takes on Wales in their first preliminary round match in Sydney on Friday at 11:50 a.m. and you can watch this match delayed at 3:30 p.m. on Fbctv. Suva will go into its Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants semi-final with full confidence after its 5-1 drubbing of opponents Lautoka in its last pool match. But the Whites know it will require a lot of hard work to break its long drought at the tournament. Rohit Deo reports.
Brings it back, Peter Rambo across field to Nikhil Chan. Nikhil from just outside the box comes in with a shot.
It's been 20 years since Suva last lifted the BOG title. The Whites are pleased to have made it through the first round.
As I said in the beginning, that every game for us is important. Though we did not prepare so well, we get the boys together for only 2 days. But the combination is picking up now. We need to play more games. We had been playing games, so this has really helped us now.
Suva needed a draw against Lautoka to qualify for the last 4 stage, but they beat the Blues in style. The atmosphere in camp is good.
Yes, I think the boys really put up good effort in that game against Lautoka. They were really hungry, and we could see that in that game. They really wanted to score more goals, and that's a very positive sign for our team.
The team is injury-free except for a minor injury to defender Colinio Sivuki. All guns will be firing from both teams when they meet on Friday. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The BOG resumes on Thursday with the first semi-final between Ba and Nandi. Meanwhile, Fiji Football Association says it is pleased with the level of competition seen at this year's tournament.
Well, I think the tournament was full of excitement. It was not until the last day that the qualifiers were decided, and so the competition the first 2 days you would have seen the score line was very marginal, and there was no sort of a big defeat, and all the teams were fighting hard for it.
The final of the tournament will be played on Sunday. Wine distributor Victoria Wines has committed its support for the Fiji International Golf Tournament. The experience of participants at the Fiji International will be enhanced through the excellent range of wines being sponsored by Victoria Wines. This is the second year that the company has supported this premium international event.
As we all know, that the golfers enjoy the finer things in life, and one of the finer things in life is having great wines and champagnes at dinners. So Victoria Wines coming back on board again means that we're going to have a premium brands at our event functions.
The Fiji International will be played at the Natandola Bay Championship Golf Course from the 15th to the 18th of October. BSP's acquisition of former Westpac businesses in various Pacific Island countries is close to completion. Country managers from Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga and the Cook Islands met in Suva today to see how business is run here in Fiji. According to these managers, the transition has been smooth. BSP is currently working on getting the process finalized in Vanuatu. BSP Senior Manager Corporate Strategy, Finance and Planning Matthew Hasu says, so far the transition from former Westpac banks to BSP has been great for all the countries.
Being, of course, relatively central to all the Pacific Islands, it was seen as a place not just from an ease of convenience from a transportation perspective, but for our country managers who have just arrived from the newly acquired countries to see what we're able to do in Fiji.
BSP completed transaction of the acquisition of the former Westpac businesses on July 10th in Cook Islands, Tonga and Samoa to add on to their businesses in Fiji, Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. Moves are underway to revive the Fiji Manufacturers Association, which has been defunct for many years. Some of the biggest players in the manufacturing sector met in Suva recently and elected an interim executive board. Dakshesh Patel has been appointed interim president and will lead the association to its first AGM in the coming months. One of its first issues will be submissions on the 2016 budget.
An independent body of manufacturers and representing manufacturers is critical and very important. It needs to have its own focus, it needs to have its own attention, it needs to have its own ideology. And it's not restricting in participating with other organizations. It should. But notwithstanding that, we should not also allow manufacturers association to go into oblivion.
The revival is being facilitated by the Ministry of Trade and Investment Fiji. The long stretch of cloudy skies and showers continued in the east today, while in the west they had a mixture of cloud and sun. Cool temperatures were recorded across most of the nation. Suva only reached 25, while Mombasa at the high of the day at 28. Tomorrow continues to follow the current pattern of cool weather and cloudiness, with brief showers expected in all major centres. A strong wind warning remains in effect for all Fiji waters, with winds gusting to 30 knots and moderate to very rough seas. And the main points again: Public Accounts Committee questions use of consultant in restructure of Rewideri. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama to visit India in 2 weeks' time. And students can now learn the parliamentary process from a new book launched today. Now to our poll segment. This week we're asking, should we have phone tapping in line with international standards? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.